Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 26 of the Cancer Researcher podcast brought to you by the European Association for Cancer Research. In this episode, we are directing our attention to the annual Congress of the European Association for Cancer Research, a 4-day congress dedicated to basic preclinical and translational cancer research across a wide breadth of topics. It highlights the latest research and brings together the cancer research community to inspire innovation and build knowledge, connections, and collaborations. Today, I have here with me Johanna Joyce, professor at the University of Lausanne, Switzerland, and president-elect of the EACR, Joana Paredes, group leader at I3S and affiliated professor at the University of Porto in Portugal. She is also the past president of the Portuguese Association for Cancer Research, or ASPIC. And we also have today with us Mariangela Russo, assistant professor at University of Turin and member of the EACR Early Career Researchers Council. They will tell us more about the planning, organization and impact of the EACR Congress, exploring themes such as the role of the Scientific Program Committee in building the scientific program and beyond, local impact, opportunities for researchers and future event planning. Joana Paredes and Mariangela Russo were members of the Scientific Program Committee this year for EACR 2025 in Lisbon, and Johanna Joyce will be part of the Scientific Program Committee for EACR 2026 in Budapest. So the conversation is a blend of reflecting on past events, planning for future editions, and ensuring diversity and excellence when choosing the scientific program. Let's dive into today's topic. Hi everyone, welcome back to the show. Before we dive in, I just want to give you a quick heads up that my voice might sound a little rusty today. I'm fighting off a bit of a cold. So apologies in advance if I sound like I've been chain-smoking cigars. But don't worry, the guests are here to keep things lively. So let's jump right into it. Hi everyone, hi Joana. Johanna Paredes. We've got two Joannas today with us.
Hi, hello, good morning.
Hi Johanna Joyce.
Hi, everybody. Lovely to be here.
Hi, Mariangela.
Hello, good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks, everyone, for accepting our invitation. I think this is going to be quite an interesting conversation. So I invited you today as representatives of the Scientific Program Committee for the EACR Annual Congress, Innovative Cancer Science, to have a chat about the Congress, starting from a reflection over the event we had in June in Lisbon, to what you've got planned for next year in Budapest, should you be able to share some teasers with us. My first question to you is, what was your favorite part of the EACR Congress in Lisbon?
Actually, my favorite part was that it was in Lisbon, so my country. It's great when you see that the Portuguese community answered very well to this Congress. So it's not used to have so many people from Portugal in other editions from the EACR Congress. So that was an important point. And my favorite part, maybe it was the joint symposiums that we have between ASPIC, that is the Portuguese Association for Cancer Research, and the EACR, because actually we could show the research made by 4 excellent group leaders working in Portuguese centers, from I3S to Gulbenkian Institute of Molecular Medicine, Champalimau Foundation. And so this was great, and with a lot of participants. Then we also had the opportunity to give grants for 15 students, 5 postdocs and 10 PhD students. And actually, some were selected for oral presentations and also for speed talks. And so it was also great to see that actually by attending, there were so many people being selected. And from a personal point of view, of course, I enjoy the symposium that had some cross-disciplinary research, namely the Tumor Innovation Symposium, the brain metastases, that are topics that I work with, and actually I really enjoyed to attend.
For me, I thought all of it was wonderful, including the location in Lisbon. And so I just want to reiterate what Joana said. For all of us coming into Lisbon, the hospitality, the venue, it was just incredible. So thank you very much from all of us to all of you on the local committee too. I really enjoyed the opening session of the Congress. So this is the session with the opening keynote, and that was given by Charlie Swanton from the UK, but also the PET Scholar EACR award recipients. And this year that was Karen de Visser and Ido Amit. So this was really just a fantastic way to open the Congress in a fully packed auditorium, and that just set the tone for the rest of the meeting.
Before we get into more details, could you please explain to our listeners what does being on an SPC actually involve?
Yeah, so it involves some workload, reviewing abstracts that are quite a lot, planning the sessions, thinking about topics to be discussed. Actually, is a key responsibility to select the speakers with scientific excellence, of course. Diversity is also central. So, one of the important points was to consider gender balance, also geographical representation, and a fair spread across disciplines to reflect the global cancer research community. So I think that those were the main important points that we have to maintain to have an excellent meeting.
Mariangela, if I'm not mistaken, this might have been your first large congress that you've been involved in organizing. So would you like to tell us how this experience was for you?
Yeah, absolutely. You are right. That was the first large congress I was involved in as an organizer. It was great. It was great because I had the opportunity to see how such a large congress is conceived, really starting from scratch. So really to think what are the scientific topics that are hot at the moment in the scientific community, how to be sure to represent every single topic from the basic research to the more translational research, to be sure that every single branch of the cancer research is represented in this Congress. Having the opportunity to interact with great researchers that already have experience in this, but also having the opportunity to really discuss with them which are the hot topic or which are the great researchers, the great scientists that is important to bring to the podium to share the recent results. So it was great to see how every single moment of the meeting is conceived, is organized, to be sure also that the people can enjoy properly the session. It was given a lot of space in the organization also to the single workshop, to the opportunity of interaction between the researchers. So you really need to think to many things. And before being part of the organization, probably I gave some of them for granted, to be honest. But everything is planned in the detail, and it is really great to see how this is conceived.
How does it feel to attend a congress or conference that you've organized? Is it in any way different from attending any other congress or conference?
Yes, I think that it's completely different. So when you go to a congress that you didn't organize, you just attend and you just participate as a member. When you organize, you are looking for all the details, if everything that you have planned is going as you expected. Of course, in this type of congress, we have the enormous help of EACR that make all the organization, so most organizational details being done by them. So you don't have to think so much about those specific details. But in terms of the scientific planning, I think that, of course, you have a sense of pride watching the members engaging the sessions that you help to shape. And also changes how you network, because actually, if you are involved in the organization, you are a participant and a host at the same time. And of course, for the networking, I think that is also a very special thing.
Yeah, I would second all of that. I think when you organize a conference, you obviously feel a great sense of responsibility. And it's almost like, planning a party, right? You want everything to go well. And you're concerned about the location, about the weather even. Are people having a good time? Are they enjoying the science? But are they also enjoying the city, the venue? So it's very, very different. But I think, maybe in part because of that sense of responsibility, when it goes well, as fortunately all of our EACR meetings go exceptionally well, it's very, very satisfying, right? And then you feel really like, okay, all the time and effort that we all collectively put into this really paid off. And for me, when we get this anonymous feedback from the participants of both the EACR Congress, but also the special conferences that we organize, this is incredibly fulfilling because then you get to really hear what the young researchers in particular felt about the meetings, and that gives you a lot of motivation and enthusiasm to move forward to the next event. Just as a kind of a side point, we really take that feedback very, very seriously. So I want to kind of put a plug in for giving that feedback. It's all anonymous. It's really beneficial for us, and we can always improve. So please do keep sending that.
Thanks, Joanna. And yes, we do very much appreciate any sort of feedback that we receive, and we are doing our best to implement it. From what you've been telling me so far, it sounds like organizing such a complex event takes quite a bit of time and effort, and it can be stressful. I was wondering, what is the benefit for the researchers to put in this extra work and effort in organizing a congress?
If I can reply to this, I will echo what Joanna was saying before, networking. This is one of the best benefits. I'm a young researcher, and having the opportunity to participate to the organization really improve my networking. Having the opportunity to being updated to what are the hot topic at the moment on the field, I would say this is the best benefit ever. Allows you to be known, allows you to be watched. So I was also involved in the organization of young researchers to be watched as a side event, and we will speak about that later. This is the great opportunity, I would say, the great benefit.
I think that I completely agree with everything that Mariangela just said. I think that I was just that when you are involved in organizing, it also gives you a platform to influence the direction of the scientific dialogue in your field of research, because actually you are also selecting the speakers and the topics to be presented. And in that way, you can say that some topics that you are most interested can also be seen. Of course, it also expands enormously the network. So as Mariangela was saying, you start to be seen as a researcher, as someone in that country doing a specific type of research. And I think that this is the main benefit from researchers that organize.
The EACR Congress moves across Europe every year, being located in another major European city. Joanna, could you tell us a bit about the local impact of such events and their effect on the local research community? Because this year the Congress was in your home country.
Not in my city, that is in Porto, maybe some here in the future. But actually, it's really important. As I already mentioned, it calls the local research community to the Congress. And of course, as I was telling you, we had 6 speakers from Portugal. We had a lot of students coming from Portugal. So sometimes the Congress is a bit expensive from the majority of the students working in Portugal. And it's very difficult to call them to pay the Congress and to have the hotel. So when the Congress is in our country, everything is more easy. That is an important point. Of course, the other, it fosters collaborations between local institutions and international partners. It gives the opportunity for the students to speak with experts in their fields. And of course, there's also an economic and cultural benefit for the city when you attract so many people coming from Europe and from US. So I think that it not only strengthens the research, but also strengthens the culture, the public engagement, the policy of our country, of course.
So congresses offer a lot of opportunities to attendees, from keeping up with the latest developments in the research field to presenting their work, network, offer some visibility, and to make new valuable connections in their research field. What is your favorite part when attending a congress or conference? And how do you ensure that that aspect is preserved and well represented when you organize one?
Yeah, all of the things that you mentioned, Alexandra, are my favorite. If I had to highlight one, I think it's the opportunities to engage with young researchers, from the posters to the dedicated career sessions that we have at lunchtimes throughout the Congress. I also really appreciate both the topics, but the topic leaders that are selected. And these are selected by the Early Career Researchers Council that Mariangela is a very important part of. They're just perfect, right? They're perfectly selected, and the topic, it just seems like they really know this person really well, that they ask them to speak about this. This is wonderful, right? Because you can have very honest conversations with the leaders in the field in a very informal way. I've done these for a number of years now, and I find it's really great to talk with the researchers. We continue these discussions for quite some time after we conclude that particular part of the meeting. And many of these young people stay in touch with me, and I find that very enriching. This is something that for sure we see as a highlight of our annual Congress.
If I can add, I totally agree with you. Probably the part that I enjoy the most in the organization of the meeting is this part, because thinking the right question to ask to the leaders and really thinking to what's the best question, because these are all questions that I would like to ask to them. And having the opportunity to allow younger people to have this small group and interact in a formal way with the leaders, I guess it's amazing. And then the best part that I always enjoy attending meetings, especially when there are big meetings, is the poster session. Because I really feel that during the poster session, people feel a little bit less worried, even in asking questions. Young attendees, such as PhD students or young postdocs, sometimes really feel scared to ask questions during the talk, especially during the plenary session, while when they are at the poster session, they're really free in brainstorming about the science. So I really feel that during the poster session, you really breathe, I would say, the proper scientific discussion because everybody feels free in brainstorming. And I really think that this is the best part of a meeting, especially when they are big meetings like EACR is.
The EACR Congress, as you've mentioned, is one of the biggest events in cancer research, and it's still growing. In addition to the scientific symposia, as you've highlighted earlier, early career researchers have the opportunity to network with legends in the field through Meet the Expert and career discovery sessions. In the past couple of years, we also added a couple of satellite events. The Women in Leadership workshop, which is aiming to empower women in cancer research to excel as leaders by enhancing their skills and confidence to succeed in the context of a still male-dominated scientific environment, I would say. We also added Cancer Researchers to Watch, an early career showcase, aiming to improve the opportunity for early career researchers to present their work and connect with peers at a similar career level. What is your opinion on the Congress sessions branching out, and do you plan to continue these events in 2026 or add new ones to the list?
If I can start, as Joanna was saying before, I'm a proud member of the Early Career Research Council of the EACR. And as part of this council, one of the things that we decided to propose to add to the EACR was these satellite events on the cancer research to watch. And I really think that this is a great opportunity because obviously when we attend meetings, we would like to listen to the leaders of the field. But it's also true that we need to give space to the younger researchers to share their results and to leave them the podium. And this is the great opportunity for them. So this is a moment dedicated to younger researchers to show up, to share their idea, to share their results, to brainstorm about that. And giving the opportunity, as I was saying before, even to the youngers, so to the PhD student to interact during the discussion, to interact during a talk, to ask questions. Don't be afraid about that. So I'm really proud of the satellite events. It will be kept during the 2026 meeting. And I hope that based on the opinion that we got from the attendees to the meeting, this could eventually be kept also for many future EACR Congress.
Yeah, I would just add to that for specifically the Women in Leadership workshop. We've organized this for 2 years. This started in 2024. The feedback from the first meeting was that 100% of the attendees would recommend this to somebody else. We also had a fantastic day together for the 2025 Women in Leadership workshop, and we will most definitely be continuing this into the future. It's very important to have the opportunity to come together. Many of the women that come to this workshop are either starting their own labs or preparing to. So it's not just that they get to ask their questions to the panel of experts, to the keynote speaker, but they also form this network with each other. And that is incredibly powerful, having a peer network to be able to navigate the inevitable challenges that come up as you start a lab and as you hire students and postdocs and write grants and so on and so forth. So this is something we're really very gratified that it's been so well received and that it clearly fills a very important need for our community. And the same applies to the Cancer Researchers to Watch. We got tremendous feedback for this too. I think a lot of what we really try to do at the EACR, and this will continue, is to create these types of spaces for people to feel comfortable within our community, to feel that they can contribute to our community, that their voices are heard. This is what I think is so special about the EACR. It's our community. And so we want to do everything we can to serve and to strengthen and to build out our community.
Yeah, I totally agree. That was great.
Can I just add something? Because I think that one thing that I miss in the EACR is patient perspective. And actually, this is something that is very well done in the EACR, in the American Association for Cancer Research, that every Congress usually have there also patients and some of the sessions to put in words that are more easy to be understandable by patients. And I think that it's something that maybe we also in the future can introduce in our meetings. It's just an idea that just came out now, and I think that was important.
Maybe I could just add 2 quick points to that, Joanna. We actually did have patient involvement at the EACR Congress in Turin. We had the founder of KRAS Kicker. She gave a fantastic talk in the opening session of the
Yes,
meeting.
I saw. But I think that it's something that sometimes we have, sometimes we don't, and maybe we need to strengthen that.
Yeah, and if I can add the second point to that, it's that we have this patient involvement online meeting that we are now organizing. And so we very much recognize the value and the voices of patients and the need to incorporate them into our Congress. There's many different ways that we're trying out the best way to have everybody be part of the discussion around cancer research and cancer treatment. And I expect that we will continue to increase those opportunities as we go forward.
Definitely, patient involvement is important, and we at the ACR also appreciate the importance of patient involvement. I do agree, and we are working on it. We need to find a way in which we could incorporate patients in a way that's meaningful, both for researchers and patients. So it is definitely something to continue to work on and build on what we've started. Finally, I'd like to bring the conversation to the EACR Congress next year in Budapest. Joana, what themes emerged in Lisbon that you would like to build on in Budapest? And was there anything that you feel was missing?
I think one theme for sure that we're building upon, and we have a session dedicated to this, is on tumor innovation. And this logically extends from the very successful cancer neuroscience session that we had in Lisbon. This whole field of cancer neuroscience and now increasingly peripheral cancers and innovation is just exploding at the moment. It's a very exciting and very stimulating field. And the EACR absolutely recognizes this. There actually will be a conference dedicated to cancer neuroscience in Bilbao in the coming weeks. And the lineup for that is outstanding also. So that's one session and one topic that we want to continue to have the leading researchers speak in those sessions. Another session that I'm very intrigued about is called Biological Rhythms and Their Impact on Cancer. So this both relates to the physiological rhythms such as menstrual cycle, but also to circadian rhythms. And there's some very exciting research in these areas too. So those are just 2 topics that I highlight. I don't want anyone to be offended that their favorite topic wasn't included there, because I think the entire program is very exciting, very diverse. What we really try to do at the EACR Congress also is bring in new speakers, right? We try not to have the same speakers every year. This is something that one sees at certain conferences, and we think it's really critical to continuously be bringing in new voices, and that again enriches the scientific community.
Thank you, Joanna, for giving us a bit of a taste of what to expect from next year. And thank you, everyone, for sharing with us your experience in organizing the EACR Congress and other conferences and what that means to you.
Thank you.
See you all in Budapest.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
We really hope that you enjoyed listening to this conversation covering EACR Congress planning from the scientific program to opportunities for researchers and future event insights. We hope we managed to grab your attention, and we're looking forward to seeing you in Budapest from the 8th to the 11th of June 2026. Abstract submission opens on the 1st of December 2025 and registration on the 7th of January 2026. If you've enjoyed listening to this conversation, please subscribe to our podcast so you won't miss an episode. You can find The Cancer Researcher on your podcast platform of choice. Subscribe and tell your friends about it. And don't forget that you can also find us on Blue Sky and Instagram at Hello EACR, and you can search for us on Facebook and LinkedIn. We welcome feedback and suggestions for other topics or preferred guests through our feedback form, which you can find on our website at www.eacr.org/podcast. Until next time.